Hello everyone, today is Monday, October 29th. It's 4:17 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The regular session for the futures markets just closed a couple of minutes ago. You can see my time in sales here, the last trade about 3 minutes ago. It was an incredible day today. Volatility again was really high today, and we had just phenomenal performance on the Autotrader. So let's get into it. First up is the Nasdaq on 150 Heikin-Ashi tick chart, and this drew down about 200 per contract, or $400, and then came back and had several spectacular trades. This one here coming up to 2400 as an equity high, and then another trade later in the day. It actually went short here at 10:30 and then covered at the 1 o'clock hour, and I believe I might have had some computer issues which caused this trade to go on far beyond its goal. In any case, the goal on this was 2500, and it ended up doing 7150 for the day, and I think that's because, like I said, I had some data issues and my computer froze. Fortunately, this actually worked out in our favor, but this is one reason why you should always be watching your machine. If you do have issues, you got to be able to handle it. Okay, next is the DAX on super rank of 14 tick, and we did not have a negative drawdown here. This one had an equity high of about 2500 and then drew down, gave almost all of it back, but then recovered. This is the one with the $5,500 goal, and so again, I think what happened here is during that time where I may have had data freeze or whatever, again, it went in our favor. The market dropped, and we had excellent result here, doing 66.25 for the day. Okay, so same deal here. The E-mini S&P on a super rank of 6 tick did 3112 for the day. Our goal on this one is 2400, so extreme positive slippage on this big giant sell-off here. This drew down initially about 500 per contract and then recovered. Okay, the DAX on a 150 Heikin-Ashi chart hit its goal of 2550, as you can see here, so it had a little bit of slippage, prematurely stopped out on this run. Really nice position on this short trade. We did draw down about 600 per contract, so again, you know, a lot of volatility in the DAX. These are huge moves, but ultimately hitting our goal on a few trades. Okay, so I just wanted to bring my 30-minute market profile chart here. Here we have a high of 2706. Just wanted to show the volatility today, and then we had a low of 2602. So that's 100 points in the E-mini futures. That's absolutely huge sell-off, and then it recovered into the close. It recovered about 45 of those points. So quite an interesting day here, and of course it made a new low. So the market continues to be under pressure. We'll see what happens. Okay, the Dow on a 1597 Heikin-Ashi chart with a higher time frame filter of a 60-minute chart. This hit its goal. Well, no, it didn't. Shy of its goal. It did 2510, and the goal is 2550. So indeed, this hit its goal and had a few ticks of slippage. Anyway, here's how the day went. It had a minor drawdown here of less than $100, and then recovered with these couple of nice trades and ended up hitting its goal for the day. The Nasdaq on a 5-minute chart did 2270 for the day, and on this one I set the goal at 5100, so it got trail stopped out. Otherwise it would have went the distance here, unfortunately. But still, 2270 on 2 contracts, pretty respectable. It drew down here about 670 on 2 contracts, or about 350 a contract or so. But notice the indicator signals on this sell-off here, really nice looking, taking the trade all the way down to the low of the day. Okay, the E-mini S&P on a 987 tick line break chart. This has a goal of 1300 and ended up doing 2225. So huge positive slippage on this for the day and on this trade in particular. Okay, next up is the E-mini S&P on a 5 Renko chart. This did 2050 for the day on a couple of trades here. This one has a higher time frame filter of a Super Renko 6. Okay, the E-mini S&P on a 1597 Heikin Ashi chart has a goal of 1300, and this had extreme positive slippage on a beautiful trade here, and that was it for the day. Okay, the DAX on a Super Renko 14 tick with the $2,000 goal hit its goal on what looks to be like just a half a dozen trades or so, although it did draw down about $1,300, so about $650 per contract, but then recovered to hit its goal. The E-mini S&P on a Super Renko 6 tick did 1712 for the day. The goal on this is 2,000, so just shy of its goal, and it probably had some slippage during this action, but this was finished trading in the first 30 minutes of trading. Okay, next up is the E-mini S&P on a Super Renko 4 tick, and I can't get the chart any tighter to show the entry of this trade, but it was this position here. Maybe I can do it this way. That ultimately brought us to our goal of 12. Well, it did 1275. Our goal is 1050, so nice positive slippage here. Okay, here we go. I had to bunch this up really tightly to see the trades here. So this is the 4 tick using our higher time frame filter of Super Renko 6 tick. E-mini S&P on a 30-minute chart showing the day's action here. Mostly down all day and then probably short covering into the close here. And now the market is trading again. So you can see the trades going off here. It's now 4:34 in real time. Anyway, this did 825 on 2 contracts, still very respectable. Okay, the DAX on a Super Renko 16 tick drew down quite a bit, about 800 per contract, and then recovered to do 1825 for the day, probably shy of its goal of 3500. In early trading, we made an equity high of about 1500. Okay, the Nasdaq on a 1597 Heikin Ashi chart. I talked about lowering my goals on this, and I did. I put it at 1510, and this did 1715 today on a single trade, done with trading early on, just this single trade. So with all the volatility today, this probably could have done much more. It's hard to say. But in any case, it hit its goal in a single trade. Okay, the E-mini S&P on a Super Renko 4 tick did 1300 for the day. Our goal on this one is 725, so lots of charts today had positive slippage. The gold contract on a 987 tick chart did 1050, and our goal on this is 1550. Okay, the crude oil on a Super Renko 6 tick using our line break logic had a number of trades today, drawing down about 100 per contract and then coming up and finishing at 800 per the day, and our goal on this is 1,000, so just shy of its goal. That's all for today's video. Thanks for watching today.